This is DWBR of the Philippine Broadcasting Service, 104.3 on FM. Music and talk, nice and easy.
Good evening, this is the PBS Network News, today September 23, 2013. Non-stop rains overnight again flooded the streets of Metro Manila and neighboring provinces today. The continuous rains and flooding triggered the suspension of classes in many areas and number coding in Metro Manila. The Metro Manila Development Authority said most reported flooding are gutter deep, but knee to waist deep flooding have also been reported in some areas. Pagasa says moderate to heavy rains being experienced over parts of Luzon since Sunday are due to the southwest monsoon being enhanced by approaching tropical storm Pabuk, located outside the Philippine area of responsibility. Weather forecaster Buddy Javier says the storm has a little chance of entering Philippine territory, but if it enters the PAR, it will be codenamed Paulo. In its 5 p.m. bulletin, Pagasa said the southwest monsoon continues to affect Luzon, including Metro Manila. Subic, Zambales was not spared by heavy rains and floodings due to monsoon rains. Latest reports say at least 9 people died, while more than 5 others were reported missing in 3 separate landslides. Police Provincial Director, Senior Superintendent Manuel Abu, says 9 bodies were recovered by search and rescue teams this afternoon. He said operations continue for 5 others who remain missing. Aside from the landslides, Abu said they are also assisting flood victims in Subic, where some roads are no longer passable due to floodwater. Disaster management officials mobilized all available resources to help Subic, Zambales, which bore the brunt of monsoon rains. Floodings and landslides were reported in several barangays in Subic. Marie Ruiz with this report.
The National Disaster Risk Reduction Management Council has been mobilized to help Subic, Zambales, which has been inundated. There were also several incidents of landslides in the area. Presidential spokesman Edwin Lacerda says the NDRRMC has been apprised of the situation in Subic and is taking action. In the meantime, Malacanang is coordinating with Defense Secretary Voltaire Gasmin and AFP Chief of Staff General Emmanuel Bautista on the request of Olongapo City Mayor Roland Paulino to the United States Embassy to send humanitarian assistance. The mayor requested U.S. Ambassador Harry Thomas to send troops from the U.S. Navy's ship, which is docked in Subic Bay. Filipino and American troops are currently holding Balikatan exercises in Zambales. Marie Peña Ruiz for PBS News.
Olongapo City was placed under a state of calamity as it suffered its worst flooding due to monsoon rain since yesterday. The City Public Affairs Office on its Facebook page said City Mayor Roland Paulino has asked aid from U.S. Navy personnel in Subic for relief operations. City Councilor Winnie Ortiz has sought the help of national government as they deployed local rescue teams. Several residents in Subic were stranded on the roofs of their houses today due to floods. In Metro Manila, military vehicles were mobilized to ferry thousands of stranded passengers. Alvin Baltasar reports.
8 military vehicles have been deployed by Joint Task Force NCR this day in the entire Metro Manila for libreng sakay. According to AFP spokesman Brigadier General Domingo Tutan, numerous commuters got affected by the floodings that prompted Joint Task Force NCR headed by Colonel Manuel Gonzalez to dispatch their trucks and bring stranded passengers to their respective destinations. Tutan added that even the amphibious vehicle of the Philippine Navy and its reservists have been tapped, of which one has been dispatched to Nabotas area. The official further said that major service disaster response also are on standby to assist the LGU, MMDA, and other government agencies in reaching out affected commuters. Alvin Baltasar for PBS News.
In a related news, relief from the national government is underway in the island province of Batanes, which was severely affected by Typhoon Odette. Odette was the strongest so far to hit northern Luzon over the weekend, directly hitting Batanes. Again, Marie Ruiz with this report.
Presidential spokesman Edwin Lacerda says a C-130 brought relief goods to the typhoon-battered province. President Aquino has instructed the National Electrification Administration to restore power in the area. Also, telecommunications companies sent representatives to set up charging stations for mobile phones. Budget Secretary Butchabal said there was major damage to root crops in his province. Lacerda appealed to our countrymen to help provide relief assistance to the people of Batanes. Marie Peña Ruiz for PBS News.
Another young officer was killed in the fighting between government forces and rogue elements of MNLF Miswari faction in Zamboanga. The Philippine Army confirmed the death of 2nd Lieutenant Florencio Micael Meneses, who was wounded during clearing operations in Santa Catalina, Zamboanga on Saturday. He died at around 4:30 in the morning at the Ciudad Zamboanga Hospital. The fallen soldier, who hails from Pulilan, Bulacan, is a member of PMA Class 2011. His parents are both OFWs. Meneses is the second officer to be killed in the series of clashes with MNLF fighters who attacked and occupied several coastal villages of Zamboanga City. On September 19, First Lieutenant Christopher Ramos of Norzagaray, Bulacan was killed after he was hit by an MNLF sniper. The national government will continue monitoring the situation in Zamboanga even if President Aquino is now back in Manila. Before returning to Manila yesterday afternoon, the president made sure that government agencies will come up with the comprehensive rehabilitation and reconstruction plan for Zamboanga. We hear this report from Marie Ruiz.
The president had to return to Malacanang after staying in Zamboanga City for 10 days as he has to sign many documents. The president said he has to make several appointments, especially the Deputy Ombudsman. Today, the president is busy in a series of meetings with Executive Secretary Jojo Ochoa, Presidential Management Staff Chief Julia Abad, Cabinet Secretary Rene Almendras, Transportation Secretary Joseph Emilio Abaya. According to palace officials, the president is regularly getting updates on the effects of the southwest monsoon system, which is battering the national capital region and nearby provinces, including Zambales. Marie Peña Ruiz for PBS News.
In other news, President Aquino has full trust and confidence in AFP Chief of Staff General Emmanuel Bautista. Presidential spokesman Edwin Lacerda stressed this as he denied that the attack by the Bangsamoro Islamic Freedom Fighters in Midsayap was due to failure of intelligence. Lacerda explained that government troops were patrolling the area when they encountered suspected BIFF members. He could not say yet if the Midsayap incident was connected to the Zamboanga standoff. Lacerda assures the public that the government has enough forces to address the situations in Zamboanga and Midsayap. Controversial businesswoman Janet Lim Napoles refused to enter any plea on the serious illegal detention charge filed against her by Ben-Hur Luy. Because of this, Makati RTC Branch 150 Judge Elmo Alameda entered a not guilty plea for Napoles. Handcuffed and wearing a bulletproof vest and helmet, Napoles appeared at the court at 1:15 under very tight security. In the meantime, Napoles, through her lawyer, asked the Makati RTC to move her arraignment to Fort Santo Domingo in Laguna, but Alameda ruled the motion as moot and academic. Napoles is also facing plunder charges for being tagged the alleged mastermind behind a 10 billion peso pork barrel scam involving lawmakers and other individuals from her bogus NGOs. Napoles was immediately escorted back to Fort Santo Domingo after the arraignment. Malacanang categorically states that pork barrel funds were not used for the ouster of Chief Justice Renato Corona and the passage of the Reproductive Health Bill. Marie Ruiz with this report.
Presidential spokesman Edwin Lacerda stressed he will resign if former press secretary and Senator Francisco Tatad can prove his allegations that Janet Lim Napoles had lunch in Malacanang on the day she surrendered to President Aquino. Tatad has also alleged that 69 billion pesos was released by the palace to NGOs affiliated with Napoles. He claims that the palace used Napoles as a conduit. Nasherda says the impeachment of Corona and the passage of the RH law was based on the individual judgment of senators and congressmen. Nasherda dared Tatad to prove his allegations by coming out with documentary evidence instead of giving innuendos. But if he's unable to do so, Tatad should make a public apology.
Hey, if he has any documents to prove that, then sure. He just keeps on giving us innuendos. I mean, we're a very transparent administration. Yeah, by the way, he has not even identified the sources of his lunch with Napoles. I'm still waiting for it. If he can prove to me that Napoles had lunch with the president, I will resign.
Marie Peña Ruiz for PBS News.
Senate Minority Leader Juan Ponce Enrile returned to the Senate today after a week of confinement for his high blood pressure and immediately responded to a statement of his former Chief of Staff, Attorney Gigi Reyes. In her Facebook account, Reyes criticized the statements of Enrile's lawyer Enrique de la Cruz, who said the senator did not authorize his staff to endorse NGOs as recipients of his pork barrel funds, calling it the worst kind of betrayal from him. De la Cruz said Enrile only endorsed his PDAF to local government units and never authorized anyone to enter into any illegal transaction. But Reyes said she only acted upon the authorization of her former boss, who had even assured her they will face the charges against them together. Reyes is among the 38 people facing charges over the multi-billion peso scam, along with Enrile's Deputy Chief of Staff, Jose Antonio Evangelista, who also allegedly signed documents endorsing the senator's pork barrel funds to fake Napoles NGOs. The Justice Department has not given its consent for the appearance of all whistleblowers of the multi-billion peso pork barrel scam before the Senate Blue Ribbon Committee hearing. Justice Secretary Laila de Lima wrote the Blue Ribbon panel, saying the Ombudsman now has the jurisdiction over the criminal cases filed before it by the NBI. The DOJ Secretary, however, assured the committee that she continues to offer her support and assistance to its investigation to the extent that her mandate and authority will allow. Senate President Pro Tempore Ralph Recto says the health sector should be the major recipient of rechanneled pork barrel. Judge Ismael with the details.
These are all expensive procedures beyond the reach of ordinary people, and as a result, people do die from cancer, but secondary only to poverty, he said. Although at present, lawmakers funneled their PDAF allocations to individual patients in selected hospitals, these are all on a retail basis, the lawmaker said. What is needed is the wholesale augmentation of the budget of government hospitals, he stressed. Rector said Congress can raise the budgets of tertiary hospitals like the Philippine General Hospital and specialty medical centers like the Philippine Heart Center, the Lung Center of the Philippines, National Kidney Transplant Institute, and the Philippine Children's Medical Hospital, and treat such move as a collective block allocation by all congressmen and all senators. For PBS News, George Ismael, Senate.
Finally, in the news, the Agriculture Department remains confident on keeping rice importation to a minimum despite an apparently strong lobby to jack it up. Agriculture Officer in charge Dante de Lima says rice importation for this year has been significantly reduced and target production for this year will be attained. De Lima allayed fears of rice shortage being sown by import lobbyists. He referred to the lobbyists as the same people who want Agriculture Secretary Proceso Alcala and have him replaced by someone who had their support. Alcala had earlier said that some rice importers, displeased by the government's move to cut imports, are behind the supposed rice shortage and price manipulation. And with that, we end the PBS Network News today, the 23rd day of September 2013. I'm Maju Encomienda Ramos.
This is Business Radio.
Check your timepieces, 16 and a half minutes after 7 o'clock.